Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be building up the new road bike. So to start at the beginning here, I'm just going to show you guys the majority of the parts laid out on the ground. Now I have already put the tires on the wheels and I put the rotors on. So there's only one hiccup right now, is that the bike can't fully be put together because these wheels were originally bought for a bike that was running Shimano, so it is an HG style freehub body on it. There is an XDR one coming in the mail, so once that is here, then the bike will be completed. So after that is when this video will be completed. You'll see it all together at the very end. But yeah, let's get into it and I'll show you the parts here. So here on the ground, as you can see, are the majority of the parts to build this bike. So we have the rear wheel off to the left and the front wheel to the right. So I am running Shimano rotors because they're ever so slightly thinner than SRAM ones, and I just think that they dissipate heat better, so the braking performance is better on them, even with the SRAM brake pads. So that is what I usually run. As you can see, we're running SRAM Force D1, so the first generation of the electronic shifting. It's just the majority of the parts that I had in my parts bucket. So we got the front derailleur, the rear derailleur, the crankset, the cassette, shifters, brakes, batteries, bottom bracket, bar tape, chain, bar and stem, bottle cages, seat post and saddle, pedals, and then we got the boxes for the rotors and tires, even though they are already on the wheels. So for this bike, we are going to be running a 48-35 crankset with a 10-33 cassette. I found this gearing in the past has worked very well, so that is what we are going to be running. Now, in the next clip, you're going to see the frame, me unveiling the frame. Again, this is a disc brake version of a rim brake version that I've owned in the past, and I really love the rim brake frame. It's just a little bit too small, so hopefully going forward, this will be like the new bar set for road bike feel for me personally. But yeah, so on the old one I was running SRAM Force D1 as well with the exact same gearing, 48-35, 10-33, just the rim brake levers. I loved them because they were smaller. These ones are bigger. It'll just be getting used to, but it'll be fine. So alright, so the next clip I'm going to show you guys the brand new frame. Alright, so here is the frame. This is a 2021 Factor 02. So it is in the white and black colorway, which I love white bikes. So this is what drew me towards it being available. It helped basically decide that this was the frame. So this bike is not going to be fully internally rooted, but they will be rooted partially through the handlebars, and then the front brake just down to the fork. And then the rear actually comes in the front here and then wraps around the steer post to go down the down tube. There is an option to route it here, but I love how clean the front hole look is, so we're gonna route it through the front and then down the down pipe into the back. But yeah, let's get into this build. Alright, so I got the frame here in the stand. I got the saddle and the seat post on, as well as the bar and stem here. So I've actually just marked my steer because I will have to cut it a little bit. Yes, the steer was already cut, but it needs to be cut more. I'm running it. I can't even say that this is slammed, because this, I believe, is let's say it's a 20 millimeter spacer. So it's not. It's slammed to the headset top cap, which you can get a smaller one. You can get a 5mm spacer. I believe this is 20, but this will do. Yeah, it'll probably be more comfortable this way anyway. So yeah. All right, so let me get the fork in the stand and let's cut it up. All right, so I now have my fork in my saw guide. So I'm going to take this outside and hit it real quick with the carbon hacksaw, and yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I got the the steer all cut, got it back on, pretty perfect. We now actually have to take the front fork off to route the rear brake because it comes up and around and out the front. So it's a little bit, yeah. So we just have to take off the front fork, and then we're gonna route the rear brake, hose through, and then put the fork back on and basically tighten up the stem. And then do the rear brake shifter, and then we will route the front brake shifter, and then we'll jump on the bottom bracket and get the crankset in. So, all right, let's do it. Sorry about that. I completely forgot to turn the camera on to route the rear brake, but this is probably the easiest frame I have ever routed. It just goes in the port. You got to make sure that when you put the bottom bracket in, that you either pull it down or push it above. And it just runs up the down tube, and then out the front and up here. Obviously, you're gonna have to make sure that it's out of the way for when the steer tube comes up. So yeah, no, that I didn't even need to use the guide in order to get it through the frame. Like, that is the easiest the easiest hydraulic line, especially rear brake, that I've ever run on the, I don't know, dozen or so bikes that I've built. Like, that was the easiest one to run, which is actually shockingly similar to how easy it was to run the rim brake on the original frame, because it just ran, it went in the same hole over here, and it just ran out here, and then it popped out the side over here. But that is rim brake. Rim brake's just simpler to actually set the brakes up and use. But yeah, no, that was shockingly easy. Let's get that front fork back on there, and then we can route the front brake lines. Then we can get the shifters on the bars, and then we can move on to the bottom bracket and get the drivetrain basically done. I'm not going to size the chain today, but when I do get that free hub in, so it will be sized and on the bike by the end of the video. But to end today's video, at the end of today's section of the video, we'll have both derailleurs on, with the crankset just kind of sitting there. It'll be a bike without wheels or a chain, effectively. So yeah, let's get into that. Alright, so got the hydraulic lines routed through the bars, so we are ready to go ahead and get the shifters mounted up, and then get the hydraulic lines mounted into the shifters, and then we move on to the bottom bracket and the drivetrain. Alright, so I've gotten the shifters and brakes all attached with the hydraulics lines cut and screwed in to the correct torque. Next, we're going to move on to putting in the bottom bracket and throwing the crankset on, and then pretty much we're just going to end this section of the video with putting the derailleurs on. Now, there is a Shimano cassette that I could use just to say that the bike is finished. So worst case scenario, I'll throw that on. It's a 12-speed 11 to 34 cassette. So the chain length would be close enough, if not within one link anyways, of the 10 to 33, that I do almost feel comfortable setting it up with the cassette. And then when the XDR driver body comes, I will throw on the 10 to 33 cassette. So let's get the bottom bracket in and the crankset on, then let's get the derailleurs on. We can then get the wheels on, center the brakes, and then we could, in theory, size the chain and get it to be a fully working bike. But yeah, all right, let's get the bottom bracket in. All right, so I got the bottom bracket and the crankset on. Okay, very nice, all tight. Just a standard SRAM dub bottom bracket. Yeah, so I think now we should throw the derailleurs on, and then I am going to use the Shimano cassette just to get the bike kind of finished, and then we got some finishing touches to throw on, like the bar tape, the pedals, and the bottle cages. So yeah, let's get right into that. Alright, so we got the the derailleur's on. We got the front derailleur adjusted with the thing, and then popped that out. We'll adjust the derailleur obviously once the wheel is in. Now I did also put that 11 to 34 cassette on there, and I think that's what's just going to have to happen until I get the free hub for the XDR, and then I can run the 10 to 33. But yeah, we're nearing the end of this. We're going to go ahead and throw the wheels in, center up the brakes, then do the chain, and then probably the bar tape and the bottle cages, and then I would say I just need to adjust the saddle height, and then yeah, then the bike is good to go, other than I got to pair the derailleurs to the shifters, which that's super easy and takes no time at all. So yeah, alright, let's get these wheels in here. Alright, so I got the wheels on and the brakes all adjusted so there is no rubbing. Those are good to go. I do still need to put sealant in the tires, so they're a bit deflated. All I did was set the bead. I didn't actually put sealant in them, so still got to do that. So now I just need to size the chain, then put the bar tape on, and then get the bottle cages on, and then get the entire system paired up and set the saddle height, and then we should be good to go. So let's get right into that. Welcome back. It is the next day, as you can tell. So the bike is now completely finished. I have on all the accessories and whatnot. We did get the correct driver body in, so now we have the correct cassette, the 10 to 33 cassette on there. Yeah, so that's the build. That's the bike. I think so the next video after this will probably be the mountain bike overview video, and then after that it might be a first ride impressions video or something along those lines, or just like a training ride in general. But yeah, that has been the road bike build. I'm super happy with it, super excited to get out and ride it, and hopefully it rides the same as the one that I had in the past that was rim brake. That's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.